Look what I just found.
Stories are wonderful things, and as you know, there are thousands of stories all over the world. But all stories have some things in common. They have characters. Those are the people in the story. They also have a setting. That is when and where the story takes place. And stories have a plot. That's what happens in the story. The best stories have a plot with a central problem. You know, this rock reminds me of a story from Denmark. See if you can figure out the characters, setting, plot, and central problem. Long ago, in a tiny village, there lived a mother and her son. One morning, the boy's mother made a sweet pot of butter that she planned to sell in town. "Mother, please let me take the butter to town," said the boy. "No, my son," said the boy's mother. "You have never been to town. It is very big. You will get lost." But the boy pleaded with his mother, and she finally agreed to let him go to town. She gave him some advice about selling the butter, and he went off. After a while, he stumbled upon an enormous rock. My mother said the town was big. "Boy, this sure is big. It must be the town." The foolish boy spoke to the rock. "Town, would you like to have some of my mother's delicious butter?" The rock didn't answer. After all, it was just a rock. "Oh, my mother has told me about people like you. You won't buy anything until you've tried it." "No problem. Here you go." He smeared the butter onto the rock. "Now, town, if you'll just pay me my money, I'll be on my way." The rock just sat there. After all, it was just a rock. My mother says the smartest people are the ones who say the fewest words. Don't worry, you don't have to say a thing. Just give me my money and I'll be on my way. The rock just sat there after all. It was only a rock. But the boy was angry. "Listen, town, you ate all the butter, so I must have the money." The rock just sat there. After all, it was just a rock. But the boy was angry. He began to kick and shove the rock. Suddenly, it rolled over, and under the rock in a tiny hole, there was a bag of gold. It had been left there years ago by some robbers who forgot where they buried it. But the boy didn't know this. He thought the town had paid for its butter. He took the money home, and the boy and his mother lived happily ever after. Now let's see. Who were the characters in the story? The boy and his mother. What was the setting? Long ago, in a tiny village and on a village road. What was the plot? A foolish boy goes to town to sell his mother's butter. He stumbles upon an enormous rock and mistakes it for the town. He gives it all his butter and becomes angry with the rock. He kicks it and reveals a bag of gold. And what was the central problem? The silly boy thought the rock could talk. Imagine that. What a silly boy.
That story rocks.